Hello everybody, welcome to the Explore Mobile Lab. The following slides aim to answer frequently asked questions about engineering. Now, becoming an engineer is a difficult task. You need to study K through 12 and attend to college for 4, 5, 6 years. Engineering can be compared to running a marathon. A marathon runner runs 26.2 miles continuously. For an average runner, it takes 4 to 5 hours of running to complete it. If you ask me to run a marathon tomorrow, most likely I wouldn't be able to do it. But imagine someone will offer you $1 million if I run it under 4 hours. What would I have to do to make sure I can do it? Well, for sure I need to train every day. Pay attention to my nutrition and sleep. Prevent and take care of injuries. Avoid addictions. If I run 1 mile every day, that might not be enough, right? I must build up the number of miles that I run per week. I want to be able to run the whole distance before the race so I can be certain that I can run it after training for months or even years. Now, training for a highly intellectual career, such as engineering, is the same way. But instead of your body, you need to train your brain, increasing its memory to increase the level of deep thinking that it can do. You have to train it every day. That way, whenever you enroll in college, you will have better chances to reach your goal. That's why we are aiming middle schools. Students in high schools might find themselves with not enough time to train to become an engineer. However, you guys as middle school students, you have plenty of time to start serious training. But for that, first you have to make a big decision. Is engineering for you or not? Now, many of us will say, engineering is not for me. That's just for big brain people. Well, I got you news. That's not how it works. Let me explain. Are you guys familiar with a bench press exercise? Very complete workout that help us build upper body strength. How do I get stronger on that exercise? By doing the exercise over and over again. Even though it might seem boring, right? Plain repetition and increase weight as we progress. I might start with 10-pound plates to later hold 2-3 plates of 45 pounds. Now imagine that. Instead of me lifting the weight, I have a machine. And this machine does the work of lifting the weight and I just follow with my hands as it goes. When exactly am I gonna get stronger? Never. I will never get stronger because I'm not the one lifting the weight. The machine is doing the work. It is the same thing with your brain. Math might seem repetitive and boring, but it's building the strength of your brain. Repetition improves your ability to think deeper and better. The equivalent of having a machine doing the bench press is when I see students and even adults using calculator to do simple math. We better exercise our brain if we want to keep up our brain big and healthy. Another student might say, why should I study Spanish? I can use Google Translator, right? Well, again, the machine is doing the workout, not you. Anyone with a brain is capable of doing engineering, but that's why we have the school system that help us getting smarter. Now that we're talking about a smarter person, that's the overarching goal of our educational system, have smarter citizens. Let's define that. What is a smart student? Very often we confuse it with someone that knows stuff, typically by memory, right? However, intelligence is much more than that. A smart student is someone that can listen attentively and grasp what is being said and what's not being said. A smarter person can understand even various languages. It is known that the most brilliant minds known will understand 5-6 languages by age 7. They sometimes even create their own language. A smart student is someone that can read and comprehend what is reading. Top minds can read a whole thick book in a question of hours. Practice and more practice of reading will make us smarter on this point. That's why through your whole educational experience, you will be reading a lot. And once you finish school, you need to keep reading. You'll be surprised how far your ability to read can take you. Just make the decision to read instructions and it will save you time and money. I shared this with my wife that works as an engineer in a company that makes medical devices. She said, it will not only save time and money, it will save lives. A smart student is someone that can laser focus in a specific activity until completion. The most easily distracted a student gets, the most difficult it will be to learn for him. It is important to exercise our free will and make a decision about what things are worth putting attention to. We live in a world that has so many things to offer. Sports, social media, TikTok, video games, Xbox, PlayStation, and so on, right? Yes, we can memorize how to defeat all the bosses on our favorite game, learn all the names of our favorite sports league, but unless you end up in a profession related to that, it might be a waste of time. It might be a waste of your brain power. You need to focus. A smart student has good memory and rationale. Good memory means that you have good retention. However, we humans differ from machines as we have a growing capacity. Our body follows the rules of use it or lose it. The more you stretch your brain to retain information, the more it will grow in its capacity. Now, rationale is the equivalent of grammar for any language. It's the organization that our brain has to arrange its thoughts. The more organized, the stronger it gets in understanding the causal effects of our world. For instance, if I turn on a fire and I get a piece of paper, I can predict, even before doing it, that the paper will get caught on fire and consumed. And that if I keep holding it, I might get burned if I don't let it go off on time, right? Similarly, at school we learn to organize our thoughts to be able to prevent problems and predict the future based on our current actions. There's a quote that states, "A smart man learns from his mistakes, a wise one learns from the mistakes of others." It doesn't have to happen to you in order for you to learn from it. Many will agree that college is expensive. How am I supposed to pay for college? College is not for me. Well, let me first tell you why college is worth it financially. Let's cover some facts first. College average cost is around $50,000 per year. Part of it is tuition and cost of living and other expenses. If it takes you 4 years to finish, you will need around $200,000 to go to college. Who has that money in the bank right now? Well, you're not alone. About 70% of students rely on student loans to pay for this. Loans from financial institutions, banks. And you know why banks don't hesitate to lend this money to students? I mean, we're talking 17 years old here. Who in their 5 senses will lend $200,000 to a student, right? Well, banks know that graduates will be able to pay the loan plus interest after they're done with school. Their business is to lend money and make money out of this by something called interest. It means you end up paying more than what you borrow. Basic principle of making business, right? Let's look at the other side of the coin. Let's assume, for analysis purposes, you end up owing $250,000 for college. this includes the interest that you will pay through the loan. Well, you better earn more than that with that degree, otherwise it's not worth it, right? What do you think the average salary for an engineer in US is? The median salary is about $90,000 per year. But let's put this into perspective. This is the median. It means whenever you start working on the profession, you will be earning less than that. And whenever you are in retiring age, you most likely will earn more. So if we plot it, it will look like this. A starting salary will be around $60,000 and end salary around $120,000, $130,000. So at what age do you start working if you go to college? If you enter college age 18 and finish in 4 years, you can potentially start working age 22, 23. Assuming it takes you a little longer. Let's say you start working at age 25 and work all the way until retirement age, 65. It means that you will be working about 40 years of your life. I started working at age 22 and planning to work until death. So potentially I'll be working a little bit more than that. Let's round up the $90,000 salary to $100,000 to make the math easy. How much is $100,000 times 40 years? $100,000 times 40 years. Okay, yes. It means that in that period of your life, you will be making about $4 million. Now, remember the $250,000 in student loans? $250,000 is way less than $4 million, right? That's why banks do the math and follow statistics to be confident that you will be able to pay the loan plus interest in your lifetime. I mean, with $4 million, you can have a good life to be able to take care of your family. Many students tell me, why should I care about engineering? I'm becoming a professional athlete, a football, a basketball, a baseball player, and I'm going to make more money. Clemson University is big on sports, right? Can you guess what is the percentage of student athletes that land a contract on a professional league? It is about 2%. 2 out of 100 student athletes achieve this. Now, what percentage of students doing engineering end up with an engineering job? About 90%. I agree that if you have what it takes to be part of the 2% of student athletes to become pro, you should pursue that strongly. However, you have to be realistic and figure out if that's the best use of your efforts, or if you'd rather put your efforts in something that you have higher chances of succeeding. I personally quit varsity teams during college because I choose to invest on my brain rather than in my athletic abilities. Ultimately, it's a personal decision that you have to make, and hopefully friends and family support you to make it through. Have you guys heard about the terms old school and new school? It refers to the way the educational system has changed to improve the way you guys experience the educational system. Let me show you a plot that illustrates old and new school system. This plot shows the grade distribution in the late 60s and in the 2000s. What do you guys think? Students got smarter, or did the system relax? You might want to pause the video so you can review the plots. Well, it is what it is. And believe it or not, on K through 12, the whole system does the best effort to make sure that students keep moving forward and that no one falls behind. However, Once in college, you might encounter many old school professors where the standards are kept high, and if students don't come to standard, they are not guaranteed to finish their degree. I'm telling you this so you get ready for it. College could be way more difficult than K-12, especially if you don't prepare for it. Thank you all for your attention. Go Tigers!